Hi guys, good to see you for the first B2B Growth Lab of 2025.
Let's go.
You've got you lucky lot or unlucky lot have got myself, Robbie, who you've seen before, and Roman, my co-founder at Centrama. Roman,
Nice
how
to
are
meet
you?
all. Excellent. I've picked up a Christmas cold, so I'm hanging in there for this podcast.
Okay, right. So
Looking forward to it.
basically, you're just going to sound awful for the next 30 minutes.
Exactly.
So there's a warner for everybody. If you don't want to listen to somebody with a cold, go now. Don't listen.
Cold outreach. We'll talk about that.
So topic for today then is B2B lead generation in 2025. I think a good place to start, mate, will be around what happened in 2024. Everything's shifting quite significantly. It has done in the last 2 years, and really our approach from there. So maybe you want to start with what's changed, and then we can talk around what people need to do about it, basically.
Okay. I would say the biggest influence on B2B growth in 2024 was the availability of new tools. So we saw the rise of AI towards the end of 2023, and 2024 really saw that cement in all the tools that your team, that you might be using, from email automation tools that allow you to use AI to compose the copy, to creating AI videos, AI landing pages. I mean, the amount of tools that were released last year, I think just wowed me, and the market as well. And I think
it scared the market, to be honest with you.
Just too much choice.
Yeah.
Too much choice. Who do you use? How do you use it? How do you use it with what you're already doing? So many questions came out the back of it. But I think with 2025, before jumping the gun, there's some definite winners, which we can chat about later on. But yeah, back to 2024. The release of the AI software tools, I think, took the market and gave people a lot of choice. I think the negative, which don't like to start things off with negative, but the negatives of that was people's inboxes have become incredibly crowded.
Yeah, I think the amount of people I spoke to last year, going client side and out and about in the market and chatting to people, there was a load of panicked people. They're like, it's not working anymore. And it's like, well, think about it. There's all these softwares going out there. The ability to get hold of bad data, for a start, and the ability to send an email en masse or send anything en masse and sequencing has never been easier. But the problem with that is the quality of what's going out has been worse. So you end up with like a load more. I don't know what the metrics are. I imagine it's 10x plus more volume going out, but the quality of what's been going out is less because you have untrained professionals doing it. People think they're doing a good job, but actually they're causing damage. And I know for a fact from speaking to people, there is this digital fatigue at the moment in terms of just getting pit slapped left, right, and centre on LinkedIn and on email, and even with ads. There's some really bad ads out there at the moment, and I think the game has changed in the favour of quality, and getting to quality and what a qualified lead is and how do you get there. Which is big for 2025. But yes, I agree with you, mate. The fatigue out there in terms of people just spraying and praying the market is unbelievable.
Yeah. And just the attention, to try and get someone's attention nowadays when they've got 50 invitations from people they don't know, trying to pitch them something, 50 emails that are getting through spam algorithms, because let's face it, the AI is also helping, these AI tools are helping bypass the spam algorithms, which is great for the people sending, but not so great for the people receiving hundreds of emails. So lots to probably unpack. But I would say 2024 was the rise of the AI sales enablement tools, the AI tools for B2B selling.
Have you got any predictions then for this year on the AI front?
AI is such a buzzword. Everyone's using it. Every tool's got it. I think for our space, it's how does company like us use AI with our team. So it's a combination of human and AI that's really going to see results skyrocket. It's not just AI. I mean, the amount of ads I'm getting on LinkedIn, on Instagram, which I deleted, by the way.
Yeah, I
Separate
did
side
that.
note.
Yeah, I've deleted that, and I've blocked it on my Chrome as well, so I can't get on. That's a little productivity hack.
Yeah. The days of doom scrolling are gone.
That's it.
So the amount of ads I'm getting of AI tools that do everything. And what I mean by that is you start, and they're calling them AI agents, which is something I want to talk about too in this podcast. But you start, sign up, and they do everything. And they say they're going to do everything from data to copy to sending to integration to that booked meeting. But it's not there yet. It can't do it. It's not going to work.
No, I think everybody's very skeptical of it as well. Like if you get a call from an AI bot or you get a message from something driven by AI, you can smell it. You can still smell that it's AI, right? And I know you're probably going to talk about clever uses and good uses of AI and where that is at the moment, and how we can leverage that and how we're leveraging it. But I think a good analogy, as we like analogies here,
Me too.
is I feel like 2024 was a year where kind of everybody who wanted to race the race of creating opportunities and booking sales appointments, okay, they all had their way and they were kind of struggling through and they were making things happen. Um, and all of a sudden, with all the softwares going out there and all the tech stacks that are available, everybody was presented with an F1 car that they could drive. Okay. The
Mm.
problem is when you get into an F1 car and you don't know what you're doing with it, you just end up crashing into the wall and it's chaos, basically. And so, what my prediction for 2025 is actually it's going to take those F1 drivers, like the best drivers possible, to be able to deliver results with all of these tools and all of these enablement pieces, and also the AI that can support. Because there is just so many buttons, so many things that you can do with this car, and it's so powerful that if you don't know what you're doing with it, you just end up so distracted or kind of not getting anywhere, just doing donuts on the start line.
Okay.
And I think that's somebody actually explained that to me. As they said, that's what they feel like they're doing right now, and could we help?
Okay.
Of course, the answer is yes. But yeah, I think that's what I feel like's happened in 2024. I don't know about you.
Yeah, that rings true. Definitely.
So, okay, AI buzzwords. Everybody's talking about it. What's your stance, Roman? Where are we going with AI?
Um, Lots of places. Lots of places. Using a lot of filler words because there's so much to say. Let's start with Sandra. That's at the forefront of my mind. There's a lot of opportunity. So just to give the listeners some background on my role at Centrama as one of the co-founders, I am, I would say, my main focus is product. So adopting these tools that are on the market or creating our own tools to be able to book our customers more meetings every month. So that's my main target every day I get to work, and I'm like, how are we going to book all of our customers more meetings, which is extremely exciting. I love my job. Um, so when we talk about AI and what I see the biggest impact, I actually see it on service delivery for our business. So how can AI help our customers feel more connected to our team? And how do we bridge the gap as an agency from our team delivering results for your team? And I think that's where AI is going to play a huge impact at our business in the next quarter, the next 6 months. Probably a bigger impact than the AI is going to have on the tools that we're using to actually generate those opportunities. A simple sort of stat is our team spends more time working out what they're going to say than actually saying it. And
Hmm.
AI is never going to take that away from our team. So how we formulate the pitches on the phone, for example, just had a chat with our head of performance, Daniel, who was showing me his new Centrama pitch. And AI is not going to come close in the next 6 months to being able to formulate that for our customers. So the human element there is not going away. Where AI I think is going to have a huge impact is in customer service and being able to interact with all of the data that we build essentially for our customers.
Absolutely, and in quality control as well, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
There's loads. I mean, that was a big thing for us in 2024 with AI, was how is it helping us with our data builds? How is it helping with feedback on quality of appointments, etc., which is a whole different thing for another session. But
Yeah.
we've got some really cool modules that you and the team have built out on our platform that is, it's impossible to deliver a bad meeting, basically, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so with the customer service piece, then what could that look like for companies?
So we decided to call our AI Sandra. Someone I spoke to the other day when I said that we're calling her Sandra, it reminded me of an old person, an old expert at sales,
Yeah.
which wasn't necessarily what we were going for, but we've now laid our bed and she's called Sandra. And so Sandra is going to be trained on 3 core things. The first is our business. So what we mean by that is, what do we actually offer our customers? Our service, how it works, what to expect, what we need from you. She is essentially an expert on Centrama and everything that we can offer our customers. That's step 1. Step 2 is Sandra's an expert on your data. Okay? So when you become a customer of ours, we create you LinkedIn campaigns, email campaigns. We call hundreds of people. We take all that data, we sync it to your CRM. We also have our own platform which does feedback on all of the meetings we generate. We do so much that we have literally over 1 million data points from pretty much all of our customers. We take all of those data points and we feed those to Sandra as well. And the third is critical, I'm calling it critical customer success information. So pieces of information that you've told us throughout the campaign, critical emails you've sent us, onboarding transcripts, all the transcripts, all the conversations. We take all of that data and we build your own dedicated LLM, and we give you access to Sandra through Slack, through our platform. The idea being, if you need any information on our campaigns, the status of the lead, contact details of the lead, you need Sandra to help you prep for a meeting we've booked, and you want to know more information of the conversation our team had. Literally, the possibilities are endless. It is all built now into our platform. So you can interact with Sandra and get everything you need at your fingertips live.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope our customers are excited as we are, because as an outsourced provider, the question, and Robbie, you'll know best, right? What's the number one question you get from from prospects that you're having meetings with?
Oh, it's all about return on investment. That's what it's all about. It's all about, okay, great, you can create leads. What do you mean by a lead? Okay, well, we mean a qualified sales meeting. Of course, we're going to let you have the marketing qualified leads and the sales qualified leads, but we want qualified sales meetings that you can turn into revenue. The next step is, okay, how do I turn that into revenue? Is I need a good setup of the meeting. I need to go into that meeting prepared, which is where Sandra comes in.
Exactly.
I mean, we made massive strides in 23 and 24 in terms of how we hand off information to prep our partners with the meetings. Just for context, for the listeners, is when somebody books a meeting here, you get basically an A4 page amount of information about that meeting emailed directly to you, and it sits on the platform. So you're ready to, and it gets pushed into CRM as well. So you're ready to sit the meeting and can succeed, basically. Even minute details about icebreakers. So I had one just yesterday, actually, that came from our team, which was for me to work, and it said that the gentleman I was speaking to was doing some house renovations. So I spent the first 10 minutes of the call talking about his house renovations, what he did to me, and the barrier to the conversation and the rapport building was there. Okay, now where it then becomes really, really powerful is if I have Sandra with me, briefing me on the calls. I can ask her questions, and I'm doing it in the safe space of the Centrama platform, so I don't feel like I have to ask somebody about it. I'm asking Sandra; she knows everything. With suggested angles, suggested pieces from what we've qualified. I think it's important to note actually at this stage is when we talk about a qualified sales meeting, we're talking not just with the right people within your ideal customer profile, but also having met some qualification criteria and some qualification questions as well. So 3 or 4 qualification questions that have been answered as well. In the conversation, and again, that's a whole different thing of how we get those qualification questions answered without coming across like a telemarketer. It's all a skilled salesperson's role. But if you can imagine, Sandra has got everything for you. So you're going to go into a quality meeting with somebody who knows all about that prospect and their journey so far into that meeting. For me, it just excels the pipeline. So you have a meeting booked, you know it's a good quality meeting, you know what to say to that person and that prospect. You've got all the context, which helps you out in terms of spending the next 30 minutes with them. You can actually talk about relevant stuff and just trying to find out what they want or pitch them everything, because what seems to happen to some people in some industries. You can actually have a proper conversation and solve their problem that they've got, rather than have that first interaction being a little bit edgy and trying to figure out what's going on. So it's super, super powerful.
Yeah. That stage is really critical. Whether you're using us to generate your qualified sales meeting or you have your internal team doing it, there will always be a handover point between SDR and AE or sales director, whoever's taking the meeting. There's always that handover point. And internal, you've got your CRM, you've got the records. You're probably going back to the SDR going, I need better notes. You're probably calling them 5 to 10 minutes before the meeting's taking place going, who is this person? Give me more information because the notes aren't great. We've built Sandra to really help the handover between our team and then into the person that's taking the meeting. But Sandra doesn't also end there. She's built into Slack. She's in our platform. If you then have the meeting, you can upload this transcript to Sandra and she'll help you create follow-up emails. She'll help you give you next steps. I mean, she doesn't just do what she is trained in terms of on her data set. I don't know if that makes sense, but she's trained on so many data points that's specific to our customers, but she also has the knowledge of being a sales expert. So we've also done that so she can assist you in day-to-day tasks. So extremely powerful for just your day-to-day sales questions and support that you may need.
Well, I think that's the is often an unspoken thing, but it's so basic in a lot of marketing worlds and sales worlds. Is um, it's all about ROI. It's all about return on investment. So you've put this time and energy into something, or you've paid for something, be that a service from a partner, be that some data, be whatever it is. To get to that sales appointment, there's been a load of investment in time and money. Okay, doesn't matter how you shake it, you will have invested time and money into that, and probably resources as well if you've got people doing it for you. So the key thing is, okay, that meeting's there. How do we then get to maximize return on investment from those meetings? And that's really what Sandra's all about. Yes, it's customer experience. Yes, it's about setting you up for a good sales call. But the real thing, and people don't speak about it because they like to hide from it. I find that you hear a lot of people, and the softwares do this, they talk about activity. When really, when you're talking about proper sales, you're talking about return on investment and how do we get to return on investment. I say activity is great, but you can be a busy fool. What you really want to do is be very effective at what you're doing. And Sandra is the answer. Sandra is the answer to that. So
Sandra's the answer.
it's quite funny we've started labeling it as a her.
I think you've got to in case Sandra takes over, right?
Yeah, exactly. You've got to be very polite to Sandra.
Very polite.
So Sandra is the return on investment queen.
Exactly.
That's the message.
She also thinks it's a good time. Obviously we're talking about how AI is changing the game, especially in our spaces. We've also built Sandra to analyze. Well, actually, let me go 2 steps back. So we're in. Have we spoken about Launchpad on the podcast before?
No, we haven't. No, not yet.
Okay,
It is out there on the LinkedIn channels, etc. So the guys can pick it
perfect.
up on it.
So Centrama released the Launchpad, which we're very, very excited about as well. High level, the Launchpad is a combination of our three core products. The first is what we're calling the Discovery, where we have 100 conversations with your ideal customers. We then take those 100 conversations, and this is what I want to focus on with Sandra, and we build you a GTM report. So it's a 25-page in-depth analysis on those 100 conversations with how do we then go ahead and book meetings with the total addressable market. So based on those 100 conversations, what have we learned? And then how do we then go book meetings with 1,000 more ICPs? Okay. We then return that report back to you, and then our team will then implement the steps based on those 100 conversations to consistently book you sales qualified meetings month on month. So that's a very high level overview. But what we're seeing with AI and Sandra is we are now in a position to analyze hundreds of conversations and generate insights from those conversations. So if you look to last year and the year before, analyzing and generating in-depth insights on thousands, hundreds of thousands of characters was a challenge. Without going too technical, search embeddings, chunking, all that sort of buzzwords when it comes to AI is it's improved so much that now we can actually give our customers really deep insights on the conversations we're having without having to have a human sit there and literally listen to every conversation and write down their notes, which means we're able to change campaign strategy really, really quickly based on what we're hearing from our customers and generate much quicker and much better results on the back of it. So simple things like just being able to analyze hundreds of conversations in seconds. That's where I think AI is really changing the game this year.
Yeah, there's some really incredible stuff coming out of that as well, like competitor analysis. When you're speaking to customers or potential customers and having hundreds of conversations or 100 conversations is a lot of conversations. If you think about the amount of energy you have to put in and time to actually speak to 100 people, I mean, it's months of work, right? Of trying to get hold of them and speaking to them, and we deliver that very quickly, which is cool. But it's real people having real conversations. So therefore, the end user is always quite forthcoming. We all work in sales. People listen to this work in sales. They know how it goes. If you get chatting to somebody, you build some rapport well, they'll normally tell you what the situation is. There, you talk about spin selling. They tell you the situation. They'll tell you their problem. They'll tell you the potential implications of that problem, and then they'll tell you the need payoff from there. Okay, if you know how to handle the conversation, you can get that information quite easily. Now, what then happens is I've seen reports on the Launchpad reports where one of the sections is a competitor analysis, for example. Huge, right? You would enlist a research company, or you try and do it yourself, and it would take you 6 months to do that sort of information and analysis. And it's able to pick out, okay, the main competitors, why they're using them, what they're doing with them, when they're up for renewals, all that sort of stuff, which is incredibly powerful. Particularly for refining strategy and basically booking higher quality appointments. But also, it gives you huge feedback in terms of where you might have thought going after XYZ stakeholder. Let's just say it's, I don't know, a COO of a manufacturing company might be your ideal customer base for your SaaS solution. Actually, you're engaging with them, and it turns out is the FD is probably going to get a better view on your SaaS product, and you never really thought about the FD because you were terrified of speaking to the financial directors because you thought that they were going to just be looking at bottom line and not wanting to take on software. So there's loads of ways it's kicking out valuable information, which is really quite cool. And as you pointed out, you would need an army of humans to do that analysis. Okay. And I think a lot of the industry is coming at it from the wrong angle. They're putting AI in first to try and have the conversations and get the interest, etc., and handle the whole thing because that's like the ideal world. But that's only going to end up in AI talking to AI eventually, because people will get sick of it. So you have humans speaking to humans, and then all of that good work, you get the AI really supporting through and
Yeah,
analyzing.
that was put beautifully.
Thank you.
I think 2024, to try and stay on topic, because we're known to diverge off topic, you and I. But if you look at 2024, the AI focus and the software release were all about trying to get someone's attention. But you can just pick up the phone, call them, and you have their attention, right? So it's then what happens at every stage after, right? How can we improve that conversation once we've had it? How can we take them down a better journey? How can we ensure that the salesperson is getting the right information to actually hold a valuable meeting? Everything we've spoken about is all about how does AI support humans, not, as you said, how does AI get a human's attention, and then what, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really well put.
Okay, cool. So exciting times. I know we could talk for hours about AI, and we could go off into hypotheticals and where it could go, but that's real. Sandra's real. That feedback loop is real,
Yeah.
which is really cool. I think some high level stuff. What do we think in terms of outbound channels for 2025? You obviously got the three classics. You've got email, LinkedIn, the phone. Physical is obviously a big player now as well. They're your main outbound channels, those four. What's your predictions on there and recommendations?
My advice, and what I'm focusing a lot of my time on today, is what channels will get the attention. So what channels aren't being used, right? There's hundreds, probably thousands of email tools, LinkedIn tools, dialers, but there are much fewer on the physical space. Obviously, there's a bigger barrier to entry from even just a simple procurement perspective, right? Sending 1,000 handwritten letters is just not as easy as sending 1,000 emails, right, in today's age. So basically trying to explore and find channels that aren't being leveraged by the mass. That's where I would focus your attention, is where my attention is being focused. So physical is a great one. We're looking at, probably can't mention some of the other ones because there's a top secret.
Yeah, I wouldn't mention those. I think the thing with the digital channels is it's all about starting conversations on digital channels and building rapport, rather than just pitch slapping people, which is still happening out there. It happens every day, unfortunately. The classic hello, first name, how's it going? This is what we do. Give me some time. Doesn't work anymore. You have to do it in such a way that starts a conversation, is quite compelling. Pattern disrupts is something that we use a lot here. In fact, it's standard to use pattern disrupts on digital. Again, that's a whole other session, but the fundamental of that is using some creative or using a good way to actually show that you want to talk to that person. I don't mean letting AI just write an opener, because it can be very ambiguous. I mean, I got one the other day that told me that the university I went to was like 400 miles away from the one that they went to. I'm like, okay, great. Are we playing GeoGuessr here, or what? Why are you telling me this on my email? So I think that isn't necessarily the way to get people's attention. It's about using simple, effective pattern disrupts, which you need a lot of skill to be able to do that, and know what you're doing. I think that's what digital is all about right now. And then obviously on the phones, it's all about quality of data, being compliant with it, permission-based openers, having quality people on the phone who can have a proper permission-led sales call rather than just a telemarketing attempt. I think those are real key things that people are missing. And then obviously how that journey all intertwines, which again is another session, but obviously sequencing was huge a few years ago. There's lots of sales enablement tools. People do get very lazy and do overcomplicate it at the same time. The fundamentals are you find somebody who's warm, have they interacted, then you engage with them. And normally the best way is over the phone, to be honest with you. Once you've got that hook, once you've got the reference point, the phone is always the best way to engage.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. There's lots of changes coming in regulation. as well
There
with
is.
AI bots, etc. LinkedIn obviously changes the goalposts for everybody weekly,
Yep.
which I think, again, as we've always accepted, it's their environment. Of course, they're going to do that as they control it. So it's all about working with LinkedIn and understanding how they like to work and communicating with them around it. Yeah, I think the four main channels for outbound, LinkedIn, email, phone, and physical, are still very much live. They're always going to be there.
Yep.
It's just a case of using them smart and using them in the right ways. And remember that things do change every few months and the way you have to deploy them. It's a very high level thing to say, to be honest with you, but we don't want to give away too much of the secret sauce, do we?
Yeah. I think if we look to 2025, we've got all the channels, data, intent, AI, all of these things happening. I think the stance we've taken with our customers is, I like to use this word, which is, better pronounce it correctly, but commoditizing the sales meeting. That's, I
Yep.
think, where our focus is this year. Our customers and people in the market, there's so much noise that people have got lost to the final output, which is the sales meeting, right? So we have this saying at Centron, which is, our customers really don't care how we do it, as long as it's GDPR compliant, right? They just want the sales meeting. So we've now shifted our focus into saying, okay, there's all these channels, all these tools, all this AI, all this, all that, right? That can generate the meeting. But we, as a business, are commoditizing it. So you, as a customer, get consistency, get quality, and get meetings you can basically convert with an ROI. And that's all the customer really cares about, right? So that's where we're shifting our focus. Our commercial strategy has completely shifted to represent this. So we now charge our customers per meeting booked. And we've seen a huge shift in our business just by doing this, right? We, a few years ago, were in the activity space, right? We were saying, hey, we're going to send X amount of invitations, make X amount of phone calls, and send X amount of emails. And the customer's like, great, that's amazing, right? But customers got one meeting, customers got 20, right? Depending on so many different factors. So we've completely flipped it on its head and said, now we're going to sell you meetings. We're going to use all the tools, technology, AI, the best on the market, our own ones that we've built. But the end goal is to deliver you the sales meeting that you can sell to, basically.
Yep.
So I think that's probably also where we're heading. I think other tools, technologies, and companies, they're going to start catching up to that, but that's what the consumer wants. But I would say that's where, if you look to the market and you're considering potentially using a sort of a growth partner, someone to help you book more sales meetings, I would say that's where we really stand out in the market, is we're selling you meetings. There's a process, there's a madness behind it. There's me behind writing some code, doing this, doing that. But the ultimate goal is, you want sales meetings. You want, as you say, Robbie, the ones that you can trust, have a certain quality that you can sell to. And that's what we want to sell to you and what we want to deliver to our customers.
Yeah, exactly. I would also say, there's one thing I want to say to round off this little foray of ours. But before I do that, I think for anybody who's considering, okay, how do I get more qualified sales meetings in the diary? There's two fundamentals. You either have to hire in a specialist to do it, or a number of specialists to do it, or do it
Yeah.
yourself, which is time, which you probably don't have. Or you look to outsource it to a partner who knows what they're doing, and that's really key. It's a partner that knows what they're doing. Good, because the play with that is, if they're any good, they'll be able to start booking you meetings within a couple of weeks easily. They don't fall for the whole, it's going to take us 3 months to warm up, etc., etc. It literally takes a matter of weeks if you've got the
In
right team in
days,
place.
days in some cases
Yeah,
for our
days,
customers.
absolutely. But you need to make sure that that partner's got the right setup as well. So, are they training the team properly? How's their onboarding or launchpad process looking? Are they really going to understand me as a customer and the voice of my business? For example, if you were to come here or walk into our office today, I'm in the office today, you'd see a head of performance and their team, and they're there for quality and getting what you need delivered. You have a head of customer success and their team, and they're there for leading everybody basically and getting your campaign succeeding, and delivering the results and applying their knowledge. And then you'd see data teams, you'd see creatives, you see everything that it takes to get to that meeting. So and we know the industry is full of kind of promises and empty promises and broken dreams. And it's all about actually finding a partner that's going to deliver and stand by what they say they're going to deliver, with a compelling proposition like qualified sales meetings and being able to do it through the platform that we have with the support team, etc., etc. So I think somebody said to me, and this is how I'd like to round off the chat, unless you've got anything else to add, Roman, for today.
I think I'd just like to, if you're going to look to use a supplier, competitor of ours, look at their commercials. Like, we offer our customers sales meetings on a fully insured basis. So what we mean by that is you only pay if we deliver you the meeting, right? We're backing ourselves, our team, our technology, our process, everything we've waffled on about for the last half an hour, right? We're backing ourselves, and that's how we choose to price and our commercial strategy at Centrama, which I think says everything we need to say in terms of trust, let's say.
Exactly. It's all about transparency and trust.
Yeah.
All about results and return on investment. Transparency, trust, results, return on investment. Which I think we just rewrote our values statement there. But so I think I know somebody said to me in mid-December, so 2024, end of 2024, they said it's never been harder to book sales meetings. And I said, okay. I looked at this. It's a friend of mine. As I looked at him and said, okay, but you seem to be doing okay. And he just smiled at me and said, but it's never been easier if you know what you're doing.
That's brilliant.
I was like, okay, cool. I hear you. So that's a shout there to James, who's going to edit this video. If you can pull that out as a bit of content for us, that'd be great. But it's never been harder to book a sales meeting, but it's never been easier to do it if you know what you're doing. So that's my signing off for today. Roman, thank you for your time, mate. Appreciate it. I know you're busy with everything going on.
I think.
That's it,
Mic
guys.
drop. Enough said.
Let's go. All right, guys. Any questions, obviously leave them in the comments, etc. There's information everywhere on how to find us and get in contact, so please do. And thanks for listening.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye.